Welcome, everyone. Really excited to have you here today. My name's Glennon. I'll be one of your hosts today, and excited to get started. It's 11:30, so we're gonna get going, and really excited to interact and make some books with you all today. I'm gonna share my screen, and we'll get going. So a couple of helpful tips today. Today is bookmaking, connecting with students through art and arts integration. Please make sure you're muted. We love seeing you, so if you can, turn your video on. Please submit questions via the chat. We will be using the chat to moderate our discussion today. And please complete the feedback survey at the end. We greatly appreciate it. I want to share that our call for proposals for the California STEAM Symposium is open. If you're passionate about a topic within STEAM, we'd love to have you submit a proposal and come share your passion with us. We are also, as the CDE Foundation, in partnership with the Governor's Office and the California Department of Education, we are working to bridge the digital divide, and this is our fundraising campaign for that. There are opportunities to make individual donations, as well as if you have a corporation or large organization, we have options in that realm as well. So please reach out. We greatly appreciate your support. This campaign is to provide both internet access to families as well as devices as needed. We also love to hear what you're learning and share with us on social media, and would love to see how you've used Lunch Bites. And sometimes we give out prizes, so that's a good reason to share out. And today, I'm happy to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to pass it over to our co-host, Karen Warner.
Thanks, Glenn, and I appreciate it. It's so great to see everybody today. As always, we're going to be giving you some takeaways at the end of this 30 minutes. You'll get some templates, some things you can use immediately with your students as they are at home, and these are things you can also use in a physical classroom as well. So you're going to get a quick demo, and then you're going to actually be making something. So that's why earlier Glennon said, be sure you have a pair of scissors, a sheet of paper, maybe up to 4 sheets of paper, depending on how innovative and creative you want to get during this time. So I would like to start off with a quick video.
Karen, can you share your screen?
Yes. We're going to have a quick video. And I think it'll set the stage for us for why we are here together.
Karen, we can't hear any volume at the moment.
Is that better?
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
I think last time, if you want to escape out of the presentation and then adjust the volume on your computer again.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody. This is sometimes when you're dealing with tech, it's not so much what you're trying to show people as much as you're trying to show what you do under pressure as things aren't working. So I'm going to try the video this way.
No sound just yet.
Okay.
So Daniel mentioned when you share your screen, there's a click box that says share your sound.
Up here. All right, I'm going to try one more time, and if it doesn't work, we'll go on.
Unfortunately, we don't have sound, but if you want to just make it bigger, there's a lot of text in the video, so I think that's will help. So thank you for bearing with us as we had some sound challenges there. The video is linked in the slide deck, and Karen's going to carry on. Do you want to go back into present mode?
Yes, thank you so much. You know, the big takeaway for me on that video is really where they were talking about if you're trying to learn something and you want to retain it, that drawing ends up really helping you to lock that information into your long-term memory. And so for your comprehension and retention, drawing research has shown is even better than writing in some cases. So I've got some research if you want to do a deeper dive here, but it's really about engaging and helping them to remember. So in just a minute, I'm going to introduce you to Susie Payton, who is an artist and public advocate for a public art advocate in Redwood City. And she is going to show you a quick demo of a simple book, and then we're going to all together make a book. And I want you to be able to just relax and know that all the information that she's going to give you today, I've linked here. There are PDFs, and also there is a website, Bookmaking with Kids, that you can go and read more. So today, don't worry about trying to take a lot of notes, just enjoy making. So as we're making today, one of the ideas that I had for us for a flip book is really to connect in with students. We know that this is difficult for us being separated from our students. They're at home, we're at home. And so giving them a place to express their emotions can be really valuable, and also to share that with families. So I'm providing some open-ended prompts here that you could use with students. Today we are going to be picking 4 emotions, and we're going to be making a flip book in a few minutes with Susie. And this is a type of book that you can make a demo now so that you can show your students, and then it's something that they could make and then later share with their families to talk about emotions and how they express emotions in their family.
And to start, Susie's going to demo a simple book, and then we're going to get into actually as a group, everyone making the flip book together.
So I would like to introduce to you Susie Payton. I met her probably about 15 years ago at the San Francisco Book Center for the Book. And Susie, I'm so glad you're taking some time today to make books with us. So I'll turn it over to you.
Hi everybody. My name is Susie Payton, and I've been privileged to be able to make books for the last 15, 20 years, first at the San Francisco Center for the Book, and then with my business partner at the time, Kathy Muranker, and with Bookmaking with Kids. And so we've shared the link with you guys today of Bookmaking with Kids website that has all the instructions and templates and everything you can imagine to make books with your students. So I'm going to move over to my little camera here and demonstrate a couple books for you. And I'm going to turn this one off because I'm getting feedback. So turning me off here, and then I'll see you on my little camera.
That's great. And I just, as Susie is doing this, I'll let everyone know that what Susie has done is she is logged into Zoom on her cell phone, and she has taped it to a lamp that she has in her workspace. And so she's basically made herself a document camera using her cell phone. And so you can see now, it's just, this is a great way if you're going to be doing a demonstration with your students. So Susie, we can see you just fine, and please let us know.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you as well.
Okay, great, fantastic. So these are the tools that we use to make books with things you have at home. A piece of paper, pair of scissors. If you have a tongue depressor or popsicle stick, that's great, but if you don't, a butter knife works great too. And so, and all the books structures I'm going to show today, you have PDFs with the detailed instructions, so you don't have to follow along. I'm just going to demonstrate. The first book I'm going to demonstrate is called a 4-panel book. Here's our lovely example of it, and to show how it's a single piece of paper, and it makes a 4-panel book. So this is what we're going to do right now, or I'm going to demonstrate. And when I talk about bookmaking, there's two terms that we use a lot, which is hot dog and hamburger. And when I say I'm going to fold something hot dog, I'm going to fold it the long and skinny way. And I always fold like this. I pinch in the middle and I go up and down with my finger, and then I do it again with popsicle stick, back of the fingernail, whatever works best. And then I open that up, and then I turn the paper, and I'm going to fold it hamburger. And I hold it really wide. I pinch in the middle, go up and down, use my popsicle stick again, and then I open that up, and then I take my scissors and I cut one of the creases to the middle, and then I stand it up and I fold it, and I've made a book that's a horizontal book this time. That's this shape. If I cut the other dimension, the other direction, I would have made a book like this. So I have this version and I have this version. So you can make a horizontal or a vertical book. So here's our first book structure. It's super simple. It's really got a lot of different ways you can use it. And that's structure number one.
And for structure number two, this is where we'd really like everyone to kind of follow along and make your own flip book and do some artwork with it as well. So if you have a sheet of paper and you have a pair of scissors, please join us in making a book.
Right, and I just wanted to mention, this is where you could have your 4 emotions. Maybe you have a lesson coming up and it's in math, and this could be 4 vocabulary words. You could make a vocabulary book. So after Susie makes this, I will go through and give you some ideas of other ways to use these books in all different content areas. So thank you, Susie, for taking that pause. And we're ready, I think, with our materials to make a flip book with you.
Okay, so this is a Lift the Flap book, and the Lift the Flap book is from a handout that you're going to get that shows how to make 5 different books folding the paper the same way. The only difference is how you cut it after you folded it. So I'm going to do the Lift the Flap book, and you start by folding it hot dog like we did before. And then you open up your paper and you turn it and you fold it hamburger, and you crease it up and back. And this is the same first 2 steps we did with the simple book. And then once you get to this phase, you leave it folded and you lift up one of the flaps and you fold it back to that crease you just made. And you go. And you crease that so you've made like a wing or a flap. And then you flip the whole thing over and you fold the other flap back. And you crease it. And then you've created, whether it be a W or an M or a bird, whatever, you've created this 8-panel piece of paper that's folded. And to make a Lift the Flap book, you're going to cut on the creases, the 3 creases that go down to the middle horizontal crease. And then you're going to fold these over to make your flaps. There you go. And when you fold it all together, you have a cover, you have a back, and you have inside with 4 flaps. Now, sometimes when you make these books, I'm going to show you a couple examples. Oops, there's my example with prepositions. The bottom is open, so you can put words or teasers on the bottom. So if you want that, all you can do, the easiest way to do it is just to trim the bottom here. Or if you want to put the clues on the front and then open up and have the answers there, you can do it that way too. So Karen, do you want to give everybody some great ideas on how to decorate their book now?
Sure. I think what I'd like to encourage people to do is to continue making their book and make simple drawings based on their vocab words. And as we proceed here, we have an opportunity, and I'm going to launch a poll for everyone. But what we want to do at the end of this session is we want to do a virtual gallery walk. And so we're going to attempt to do that. And so if you can proceed with making some drawings and your words, similar to the prepositions book here, where she has a preposition and then she has a drawing under each one. It can be simple stick figures and the like. But now what I want to do is I'm going to launch a poll for everyone, and we want to know where you want to go next. And so would you like to see more examples of student work, or would you like to see more demonstrations? So we're going to give it 20 or 30 seconds here and see what the response is. And what I'll also add while we're doing this poll is that if we don't get to one or the other at 11:30 or at noon when we finish, we'll stay on the line and we can get to the other. So what has come up pretty clearly is our audience would like to see another example of a bookmaking demonstration. So Susie, would you like to do another book for us?
Absolutely. Okay, let me close that. Oh, there we go. There I am again. Okay. So I have a few. I'm going to show you my personal favorite. And it's in the same instructions. And it's called the center cut accordion. And here's our sample of it. And it makes one.
Susie, could you make it a little closer to your camera? Like pull it, yeah, a little bit up and then a little away from you. And I think people will see it. Thank you.
There you go.
Is that better? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 page book if you want to include the front and back. And it is a made with a single piece of paper. Gotta open my book up. And that's how it's a single piece of paper. So we're gonna make this again, and you guys are gonna have fun. Okay. So we start with the exact same folds we did to start with. We fold it hot dog, go up and down, open it up, hamburger, up and back, flap 1, up and back, flap 2, up and back. When I get to this stage, it's the exact same as I just last did. I'm going to hold it on the crease, and I'm going to cut this middle crease just as far to that next crease. So I have it looks like a little mouth or something. And then I pick up these 2 pieces like that, and I fold them like that, fold them back, and I have my book. And in the Bookmaking with Kids website, I believe we have templates that show this book structure with, as it did here in this one, where there's a place to put a cover and your name, and then there's places with lines. So if you wanted to share those with your students, I believe we have those templates online. If not, Karen can send you links to those. So that's called the center cut accordion.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Susie.
You're welcome.
What we're going to do next is Karen's going to take it and give you guys some ideas about how you can use the book. as a way to engage students in their learning?
So Susie actually allowed me to take pictures of other books that she's made, and these are ones that you can find examples of in that website. But I wanted to, it's one thing to make the book structure, but then how are you going to use it? So here's some book ideas. So you could have a family recipe cookbook. This she added into this book a chopstick and used some pipe cleaners to hold it, or you could use little rubber bands. You could also have a family interview book. The child can make the book and then go around and interview family members on a topic that you set.
Erin, we're getting a question about what advice for students with OT challenges.
There are some books that are very simple for more of the for just if scissors are a difficulty, they could do the folding. But this is actually, if you have OT challenges, this could be something that would be good therapy to be working the scissors. So I would say leave out the scissor work if that's difficult. You could have this as a project you do with somebody, and so maybe they're helping you. If the person isn't able to use their hands, they could give information to the person who's helping them make the book at home. With like folding hamburger, folding hot dog, and creasing, and then maybe it's something they could build up to be able to do. Another book that Susie has helped students make is journals, and whether it's a book of poetry, she taught them how to make collages, just cutting up newspapers and magazines that they had around the home, and then they made a collaborative book. So you could do this even virtually, where you could have groups of students who would be writing poems and then virtually bringing the writings together, and they could take pictures of their collages and have those included in the book. There's also a way for students to draw characters in a book, and then as you open each flap, it could be the pirate and then the queen talking. It could be dialogue. They could write a script. So here's another way of getting creative and getting down to that writing that you want them to do. There could be science sketchbooks where they're doing observations. Maybe it's an observation of what they see outside. For the upper grades, Susie showed me a science anatomy sketchbook, and each of these pages of like the respiratory system, digestive system, they actually are a folder and they hold the students' writing inside of them. And so at the end, they have all their writings collected and the drawings that they had to help them remember how these different systems work. You could also have them make collage books of family and friends. And so it becomes a little book that's like a movement book. And then as you're closing out the school year or beginning a school year, and if you wanted to have something where students are sharing about things at their home or things that they like, there's other books that you could make where you do extra cuts, and you could be making something like Where I Live. If you're wondering about, well, how will I do this digitally or physically, there are also ways to pull in what the student makes physically, and then they could have images captured with a cell phone with pictures, and you could bring that up into something called Book Creator, and that's for virtual bookmaking. So I won't get into that now, but I've given you a link if you're intrigued on how you would do that. Glennon, I think that we have gotten to the point where we should probably take some more questions, but
so one of the things that came up, and we may have passed over this slide pretty quickly, was ideas for a math book. I know you had a slide kind of earlier in the deck.
Okay, let me go up to that and I'll speak to that. So some of the reading that I've been doing lately, and I've given you links here on this slide to some articles, it's about how to make math more emotionally engaging for students. And so as I was thinking of that, because, I've had math anxiety in my life, and so I was thinking if students had a chance, if there's something that makes them anxious with their learning and they're able to express it in drawing or in creative ways for them, I think it can get to helping students not only retain and remember, but also get to the emotional aspect of learning, because if the emotions are shut down, you really can't learn. And so I was thinking of bookmaking as a way to be able to learn something that's difficult for me. And so I was thinking, you know what, if I could have my students, my 4 vocab words I've listed here with like cube and square, product, and each of those flipbook pages could be a different vocabulary word that then they could be drawing it and expressing themselves that way to help them to be able to retain the information and the learning that they're doing in our classroom.
Thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and we're going to close this out, and then we'll stay on the line for any additional questions. So we would love your feedback, so please share your feedback with us via the feedback form that's in the chat. We would love to try and attempt to do a little bit of a gallery walk. So if you made a book today, please make sure to take a picture of it and just add it to our Google slide deck that we shared with everyone. We're really excited that next week we're going to have the Tech Museum join us and focus on innovative projects to do at home with families. And then our resource of the week is focused on arts integration from Edutopia, and you'll find that in the slide deck. And then any links that are shared during today's chat will get added to our slide deck at the end of when we send out the recap. And I'm excited to announce we have a winner this week. His name's Albert Valderrama, and you'll be receiving a copy of the Exploratorium Science Snacks book. And so we're excited to share that. Albert has been sharing about Lunch Bites weekly, if not more frequently, on LinkedIn, and it's been a great help, and we really appreciate it. So if you have something to share about Lunch Bites, you might get a prize next week too. And Albert, please just reach out with your contact information and we'll get your prize off to you. Again, the call for proposals for the STEAM Symposium is open. There's a video recording of our first question and answer session we had about the proposals. And we have some sessions coming up next week and going on. And the deadline to submit is June 17th. And lastly, as a reminder, we're doing the Bridging the Digital Divide campaign, and we appreciate any support anyone can provide. And with that, this is our contact information. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we're going to open it up to questions. It's noon, so we're at the conclusion of any formal programming. But again, we're here and happy to chat with you for the next few minutes. So with that, I see a question. Yes, we're going to share the video. It's linked in our slide deck. But please.
I can put it in the chat. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're hanging out. If there's any questions for us or Susie, our guest presenter, we'd love to hear them. Thank you so much. Please make sure to fill out the feedback survey. I'm going to go hop over to the virtual gallery walk and see if we have any submissions and maybe share some of those. Karen and I submitted. I hope some others will join us in the virtual gallery walk and give it a try. But we found that the virtual gallery walk is a useful tool to collect feedback of hands-on projects. And it's done in Google Slides, so it's pretty accessible to most students and teachers. So with that, any questions? Susie, in the meantime, would you mind showing us a few student examples as we wait for some questions to come in?
Sure. Well, here's a book I didn't show you guys how to make, but it's always been one of my favorites. Karen did show one of the examples. It's called a Flexicon book. And again, it's made with a single piece of paper. And this was second graders that I've taught for years. And here's page 1, and then there's page 2, and then you open it like this in page 3, and then you go to page 4, And this structure lends itself, here it is as a calendar where the students would make, we had to make collages for every month. And we had this calendar template. And as I said, this is a single piece of paper. It's really fun. This is a large version of it. I always had small versions of it. So that, I believe we also have the templates to do this on the website. And the way to learn it is when you learn it by doing a sheet with numbers, and when it's all done, all the ones are on one page and all the twos. It's a really fun sort of math thing too, because it's magic. And when I teach it to kids, it's a big ooh and ah. They love it. The speech book that Karen was mentioning is been great when you want to have a conversation, when you have at the beginning of the story. Sometimes you do one side in English and one side in Spanish, or you have them do a conversation back and forth. No, this is a little messed up here. And then the conversations go back and forth, and they talk back and forth to each other. This was with an older student, and then this was with, this is the story of Stregonona Speaks to Big Anthony, and I think this was a second grader, and they just write one thing on each page, but they have a conversation, and they understand how a conversation goes back and forth. And that's been a really fun way to have kids look at more than one perspective. The book that, the collaborative collage book, it's basically just different people's poems. It's just an accordion book, and it's just all taped together. So this is a super easy book to make with your students. And we just had them collage, and then they made their collage piece. The collage got glued there, and then their poem was there, and then their next student. And this has always been a really rewarding project. This is all done by those students there. I've taught this book for over 10 years. It's always been a great book to do. Back to a simple book.
Thanks, Susie. I'm just going to remind,
Okay.
Any ideas? We have one question that came in. Any ideas to use with the flat Stanley books? I don't know.
Go
ahead.
Yes, there is a book that's you can create an envelope with a single piece of paper, and that is on the website. It's super easy, so you can make a book out of a piece of paper. It's a letter, and you write the letter on the inside, and you can fold it, and then put a little piece of tape on it, and mail it in the mail. And I've done this. I did my Christmas card this way once. So it's a super fun and easy book, and that's something that they can do.
Excellent. I'm going to pause here for any questions. Let's see. I see that we have some people working in our virtual gallery walk. So I'm actually going to take a moment and hop over to that slide deck and share that with a few people, just so you can see what we have going on. And then if questions come in, we'll address them. Otherwise, we'll wrap up here momentarily. So this is the slide deck that we made as a virtual gallery walk. And here is the book I made today with just little stick figures. Here is the book Karen made today. We have Clea made a book about smelling and hearing and touching, so senses, very cool. We have Trisha, safety tips for wearing protective safety tips. We'll go with that. And we have Albert made a book, The Center Cut of the Accordion. Very cool. Well, thank you all for sharing. And I'm going to stop my share. It's fun to do a little virtual gallery walk. And I'm going to stop this as a spotlight. And any final questions before we conclude? So Larissa, thanks for your question. All of the links are in the slide deck. So any of the additional things that we've talked about are in the slide deck. And if you go through the slide deck, you'll be able to find, for example, she's asking about the Flexicon. I'm almost certain that's in the slide deck in one of the links that we provided.
Right, and then there's the website, the Bookmaking for Kids. Additionally, and we did get permission from the person who owns all of that to share it out, and you use it as you wish.
Any other questions? I'm going to drop the feedback survey in one last time. We'd love your feedback before we depart. So please, if you could give feedback, it really guides us in terms of where we go next with Lunch Bites and what topics we bring to the group, and really helps us improve from week to week. And would love to see you all next week. So last chance for questions. I'm going to spotlight Susie's camera again so that everyone can see the envelope that she just whipped together for us.
Susie, you're amazing. This is also in that website.
Very, very cool.
Ta-da!
Ta-da. Okay, with that, we're going to call it a day. Thank you, everyone, so much. And we're going to conclude the meeting, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Cheers, everyone. Have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week and weekend.
Thank you.